Oh, hello, garden lovers. The horses want to say hello as well. Mia. And of course, Mia, the blue heeler, is trying to be annoying. But anyway, it's been a while. And here it is. It's May already. I actually did a video in April. And unfortunately, I just didn't have time to do all the things that I needed to do and forgotten about the video. But today actually is such a beautiful day, and I thought I'd do just maybe a short video to welcome in the new year, to say May the 4th be with you and also to show you the just the gorgeous day with the flowers. And so especially this rose on the arbor, the generous gardener, it's such a beautiful rose this year, and I thought I cannot miss this opportunity. It has more blooms a couple of days ago, and unfortunately they just are almost gone over. But from afar you can see it, and I just can't help but feel joy looking at them. And I thought I'd share that sentiment from me, and hopefully you feel the same way. But excuse my cardboard, I actually just laying that flat so it will be flat when I move it to another place where I'm gonna do a no dig. So yeah, I know it's not aesthetic, but that's real life for you. So anyway, so this is the sunny border. I originally dubbed it as the rose garden, but then I found out that I don't think I can even grow roses here in Georgia. But anyway, so this end up into a sunny border. So with plants that suits to that area. So there's a few roses, there's the generous gardener, there's a very old, that pink. This is a precursor to the knockout rose. That's actually called, so it's very old, probably from the 90s, or maybe 2000s. So that's called Nearly Wild, and they're all the same color. And then I think maybe they didn't perform, or something trait that the breeder didn't like, so they invented the knockout. So I've had this for a long time. There's actually 3 of them that I planted, and they're still actually doing what they're supposed to do. The only thing is, after the nice spring weather in the summer, they get the black spot. So that's probably the reason why they discontinue breeding those. But anyway, it's still beautiful, and I just couldn't bear to like pull them out. So I just defoliate them in the summer, and then they just do well. And so let me show you this border. So underneath the generous gardener, I tried to put companion plants for the rose. So I have a clematis in there called Amelia, and then this lavender is supposed to be a good pest deterrent companion for roses. And then I got this standard rose that looks so pitiful, but it's been there for 3 years, and I don't know, it's just, that's why I changed the name of this bed into just a sunny border, because I don't know, maybe roses just don't like me. But and also there's another rose called Moonlight in Paris, and so I try to underplant roses with you know, like I said, a great companion, rose companion, living mulch. And this one right here is thyme, and the other one over there is also thyme, a different variety, probably just you know, a standard thyme like for cooking, and it's blooming right now. And so, you know, so this Moonlight in Paris actually is, you know, loving that it's, you know, shading the soil there, and it had more blooms the last 2 weeks in April, and so of course they've gone over, but there's some more buds coming up. So our weather is still cool at night, so that's what they like. They don't like the intense Georgia heat, so while it's cool, they're gonna continue to produce more blooms. And then another ground covers in the front of the border. I just planted this scabiosa, and so there's a pink and a blue, and then also the grass like to break up this oldest scabiosa thing in there with this hot poker. So it has a yellow and orange sort of dual color. So like I said, it's breaking up the texture in this garden, and then of course the lavender in the back. And I am certainly probably either getting more time to go in those bald spots area in there, and you know, to become ground cover for the climbing rose. And so yeah, there's the limelight. Actually, I have to trim that limelight to give the rose more airflow. The rose right now is not bad, but it's too thick down there, and I just didn't have the chance to do it yet. And so there's the Verbena bonariensis, came back from last year. It's still not that tall, but it should be the height of that hydrangea. And then underneath the hydrangea is the bluebeard, and it's gonna bloom profusely here in the next couple of days, and good thing, because the bees really love them. And there's the Mother's Day cedar that I have, is doing well from last year. And then of course the Verbena bonariensis there, and the peony is done blooming. There's daylily in there to soon follow and give some color in that space aside from the verbena. And but down below in the front of the border, I planted this campanula that is, for the first time, I've planted campanulas, but they're like short variety, so I really like that. And this is the tachyon blue. So this is the Campanula persifolia, which is, I guess, the tall variety. And then there's lamb's ears and sedums that are just everywhere in my garden. you know, it breaks off and then just take root. And then there's the Gora, that is, I guess, a short variety. They were all sale from last year, and I don't think that, I don't know, there were tags on them, but that's why they were on sale. I don't know, I can't remember. And then there's this fuchsia reddish salvia. This is like an annual salvia that I just planted there to, you know, take room in one of those spots. And I thought it goes well with the yellows, the yellow of the leaves yonder, and then also the Gerber daisies to the right, and also blooming behind the Gerber daisies is this spiderwort, which it will get pulled out pretty soon before it reseeds a lot. It's a very aggressive seeder, and so I have to pull it out, and so to prevent it from taking over. And then here in front, I thought I'll continue the blue from the scabiosas with this new to me lavender. This is actually an English lavender, but it's a fern leaf lavender. And so it says that it's not very common, or not, you know, readily available, or nobody's breeding or something, but it just said it's not very common. But I was happy to find this, and that was actually from Home Depot. And it was almost a 3-gallon size, and there were 3 plants in there, so I split it in 2, and I put the other one where the other rows were, where I'm gonna show you. So the abelia right there is doing its thing, covering that spot there. So that's the white variegation. So you know, it kind of light up that underneath there. So so that's why I planted that there. And of course there's this ephemeral rose campions there. I'm surprised this year I don't have a lot in this border, but I will make sure to sow some seeds later on when they're done. So next year I'll have more, and maybe, you know, on that side over there where the arbor is, to kind of balance this bed. And so I have a lot of native plants that I planted last year. This is the New York iron plant, so it will be very tall, probably 6 feet tall, with the most beautiful purple flowers. So yeah, just continuing the purple, blue, and pink, and an accent of red in this pink border. And also, this is so beautiful. This is a German bred rose called Tantau. So it's not, I mean, I think there is a an online seller that where you can buy it, but I got it from a girl that brought this back from Canada. So she's actually, you know, just propagated and shared this to those who wanted, you know, a different or hard to find, hard to acquire rose in the US. So and so of course I am all for that, but it's so healthy. I just planted that last summer, like end of summer, and this is the second set of blooms. It bloomed earlier in April. Like all roses, like I said, they like it cool, slightly cool less humid, which is now. And of course behind that a peony is about to open. So I actually have 3 different peonies in here, and 2 already are done, but that one is late to come up, so it's late to flower. And then behind that is this native foxglove like flowered penstemon, and there's a lot of different kinds of penstemon. I remember long ago I planted my first penstemon, and it's called Husker Red. So the stems were red, and I think it had pink flowers. But I'm trying to focus now on incorporating lots of natives for the pollinators. So that's why I have that. And but there's a lot of penstemon varieties that are also all gorgeous. And then of course I have this $1 a piece sale from Lowe's, the Sweet Williams, and they're doing well considering I just planted them probably beginning of April. And so they're filling in that empty spot there before everything else kind of bush out. And then I also got from Lowe's a ground cover, which is creeping phlox. So this is, I think, purple as well. It's done blooming, of course. It blooms first thing in the spring. And yeah, and then across over there, like I said, I am adding red to punctuate, you know, for something to catch your eye from far away. So that one right there is another actually native that is now the rage of, you know, the pollinator garden that is, you know, getting really popular. Or my friend that owns a native plant nursery would say, it's been going on, it's just me that didn't ride in that bandwagon until recently. But yeah, and so in that stand right there is just a petunia. I can't even remember, I bought it so early, and I planted that there to mimic the 2 roses that I kind of flanked the entrance to that bed right there. But I'll show you later because it's not even doing anything yet. It's I just received one of the roses from David Austin, and it was a bare root. So it has put on a bunch of leaves, but because of the rain. But otherwise, it was the beginning of April when I received this shipment, and it sat there for a while without any leaves because it was hot. But so now it's cooler, and we had rain, so it's putting on some leaves, but maybe I'll show you that in another time. But like I said, there's spigelia in there, and to the left of the spigelia, that taller shrub, is another favorite of mine. It's the kaleidoscope abelia. It turns all kinds of colors in the spring, really, when everything is evergreen. That's why I say winter, because when everything else is, you know, dead, it's the cold turns the leaves all sorts of yellow and red and, you know, and a touch of green. And it's also a I'm not gonna say miniature or dwarf, but it's a shorter variety than the regular abelia. Abelias are used, the old variety abelias are, you know, it can get up to like 6 feet by 10 feet easily, but I don't have the space for those, so I'm happy to have, you know, a small variety. And then of course This was here last year, which is the it's not salvia, it's a Veronica royal castles. No, it has something royal in it. I actually have two, and the other one is way taller than this one, but that's blooming, and again repeating the blue theme, or my favorite colors. And then I bought another Veronica, which is the, I can't remember what the name of this. I have one in the butterfly garden, and it's called Pink Candles, but I can't remember. But so I have two, one on that side of the bird bath and one in front, to sort of repeat the color here. And that is like the pink Veronica. And then of course I have some kind of native, nobody knows what it is, but as soon as it gets bigger, it gets probably about 3 to 4 feet tall, with like ironweed looking flowers, so to continue the purple in there. So yeah, that guy right there. So I can't wait. I just planted that last year, and I didn't even think that it was going to come back, but you know, natives are real trooper. And so in the heat of the summer when I planted it, and then in the winter it survived, and hopefully, you know, we'll be able to see blooms this year. And then of course this is still my fall container, and it's still doing well. That's why I love the Johnny Jump Ups, or the violas, and they're small but they're mighty. I mean, you know, they're not like the pansies that, you know, peter out when things gets tough, but look at them. So that's that. And then also on this pine tree is I inherited this clematis. So it's a dark purple, and so this is such a trooper. I don't do anything to it. It dies back in the winter. I don't even know what kind it is, so I don't know the pruning schedule for this clematis, because I don't know what kind it is. But I don't prune. It's hardly watered. I don't fertilize. And you know, surprisingly, every spring at the same time frame, it just blooms. And so yeah, so I cannot not show you that. I hope it translates. The sun is kind of, but yeah, it doesn't get too big. It's just like that, which is, you know, with that scrub tree, whatever that tree is, it's like, it's so pretty, like I planned it for the tree to sort of soften the pine trunk, and then for that clematis to grow, and sort of shading it a little bit, because like you all know, clematis like shaded roots, but they also need sunshine to bloom, which is like oxymoron, I think, because, you know, they like shade but they need sunshine. So let's go around the other side of the garden. So you have to go through the shade garden here and go to the other side. And so here I just added this actually this spring. So this bed used to end where that rabbit is, about right here. And I fell in love with a Pinterest picture of a bed of grass with bunnies. So of course I only have 2 bunnies, and actually I only have 1 bunny because I need all the bunnies to be that size. And so that's from the backyard, and I'm gonna return that there whenever I can. But I thought I would make this all grasses, and not just any grass, but Carly Rose. So early spring, I went to a local sort of grower in Woodstock, Georgia, and so when I went, it was March, and they had late March, and they had plugs of Carly roses. And so I went back in April, where, because I know, you know, they plant the plugs into bigger pots, and which is 4 inch, and then later on they would plant it into like a 1 gallon pot for, you know, outrageous amount of money. So I was able to get this because I know grasses will grow fast anyway. So there were $3.75 for 4 inch, and so I got 6 of them. But last year, so they will fill in. So they look small right now, but they're actually blooming with this beautiful inflorescence, and you know, like rose colored inflorescence. That's why probably it's called Carly Rose. So that one is gonna fill in there, and this is gonna fill in, and you know, there'll be some bunnies in the middle somewhere. And so this one is from last year. I don't know if you can see the color, because this is bigger. So it's just coming back. It's so Carly Rose is a warm weather grass, meaning it has to be warm for them to get going. And so that's why these are still small, because we still have very cool nights. And you know, like we have this week, last week was, you know, cooler than usual, but the week before that was scorching hot. And so, but anyway, they will eventually be bigger. As you can see, the base was a little big last year. And but that grass right there, I don't know if I will take that out and move it somewhere else, but that's the Blonde Ambition grass, Penicillium Blonde Ambition. It's beautiful, but I kind of just want this all Carly Rose. So I have to see. And so there's another one, there's this one, and then the last one over here. So I have actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know why I thought I had 7. Yeah. So that's what's going on there. So this is gonna be just beside the path. And it used to be, I just thought that the original border ended there. And so this was just empty, you know, space. And I thought I can make better use of that space and plant more plants. You know, I mean, hello, you know, plant people. And so behind the kaleidoscope, so this is the another hydrangea, Limelight. It's smaller than the other one because I planted that I think later than the other one, and also smaller. And so there's some evening primroses at the base of that stand. And then also I planted 3 Mexican sunflowers, which the pollinators love so much. And that's gonna tower over probably around 6 or 7 feet tall, and you know, it will bush out. And then this border used to be the border are salvia white wands. And I don't know why, but the white ones that I'm seeing lately are taller. So I don't know if it's just my soil or the area that, I mean, they've grown, of course, but and flowered every year, but it's just not tall like the ones that I'm seeing. So that's the other blue Veronica. What is that called? Palace something. I can't remember. I know it has something to do with palace and purple, but it's not palace purple. And then I have another Veronica. It's called Magic Show. That guy right there, and I just planted that, so it hadn't bloomed yet, but I can see there's some indication that it's gonna bloom soon as well. So, and then this guy right there is a green coneflower that I ordered from, I think it was one of the bulb mail order places, like the Holland bulbs. And then there's also another echinacea or coneflower in there with like a strappy leaves, so that is also green. So yeah, I'm gonna have to, like I said, prune or whack out that limelight, because you know, I just like this area right here needs to go for that, you know, echinacea to grow. And then there's Verbena bonarensis that's gonna climb out from here, which it did, and it broke, but I have to prune that, and so it will bloom again. So hold on, let me get out of this bed. And so yeah, so right now the Mexican sunflower is kind of catching your eye from afar, but over here on this side are just the lamb's ears, also blooming, the purple blooms, and which will needed to be cut back when it's over. But there's a bee loving it for the moment. So when they're done blooming, it looks kind of bad, so I'll just trim off the old blooms, and then it'll just be silver around there. But I don't know about you or in your area, but we had a MAST year where all my oak trees had a quadruple acorns, and so I've been pulling and still pulling oak seedlings everywhere, and I feel bad because oak is, you know, an important tree, but I just I just can't have a forest of oak in the whole property. Oh, and also this guy is a type of euphorbia. I think I must have planted this a long time ago, but they just pop up everywhere, and I just leave them wherever they pop up, because, you know, that's what makes the garden interesting and, you know, not too standard, which I certainly don't have if I have a formal garden, then yeah, this might be pulled out and moved somewhere else. But I love self-sowers. They kind of like save your garden sometimes, or most of the time, from getting too mundane and uninteresting. And then of course somebody just ran through this other Mexican sunflower because it's laying down, probably just the dogs. And so that's the other one. And again, like I said, it's gonna get taller and catch your eye from afar when it does. And it blooms all summer long, and very beneficial to the pollinators, and enjoyed actually by butterflies and and all kinds of pollinators. And then of course I have those native sunflowers. They're gonna be flowering everywhere. And I have some milkweed. This is the pink swamp milkweed, and so is this guy. So that is about to pop open, and this one is a little late. And that is really all that's blooming in this border right here. But I was just going to show you this real quick before the sun goes down and everybody's fed. And I thought, before everything goes really, everything get done blooming, I need to show you guys, what the garden looks like in this time of the year. Here's another native sunflower, which will open soon. And wouldn't that be so nice with the purples, that yellow daisy-like flowers. But also here I just finished, so this variety of Shasta daisy, which is the smaller leaf Shasta daisy, and I think this is like a native variety. I love it. It quadrupled the size. I planted this last summer, but very tiny thing, and look how big it got. Typical of daisies, less fuss, and they just bloom. And so this salvia right here, which is the caradonna, which is my favorite, it's deep purple. It's gone over, and I need to come here and deadhead for them to bloom again. But so I have 3 in here, 1, 2, and 3. And so the third one is a new addition. I used to be that you can't find caradonna locally. I had to order this from a mail order catalog, and so I just ordered 2 somehow. And but a couple of weeks ago I went to Lowe's, and what did you know, they had caradonna. So I ordered another one, and this is just the most beautiful intense purple salvia there is. I mean, and then that daylily, I wish I need to deadhead this soon so they will rebloom with that orange daylily right there that's about to open. But the daylily should be blooming for a while, so maybe they will catch up, and it will just be beautiful with that orange and purple combination, and then enhanced by this white Shasta daisy. And then this other salvia here, it's a white salvia, also gone over. So it's a Nemorosa salvia, and it's called Perfect Profusion. And then there's this new salvia that looks like Hot Lips. Hot Lips is kind of sort of very similar in the leaves, but I don't even know if there was a name. It was from I'm sorry, I just inhaled pollen, I think. This is just a Home Depot. Most of the time Home Depot don't have names on their plants. They will just say salvia, and I think that's one of them. And it looks just like Hot Lips, and it's that fuchsia again, that red tone that kind of catch your eye and direct your attention to this otherwise, maybe not flowering all the time plants in here, except for that lantana, which is the I just planted that as well. A perennial lantana, I think it's Miss Huff, And so it's gonna have two colors, multicolor blooms. I think it's orange and yellow and maybe some pink, which I have. I just can't remember from last year. I also have this other ground cover here, so when this gladiola is gonna die, you know, then you'll be able to see. And they should rebloom, like I said, the creeping phlox, another purple. So yeah, so like I said, I just want to show you guys what's blooming, including this clump of iris. It used to be bigger. It used to go way over here, but I had to pull some out to clean it up from like Bermuda grass. There's still some in there, and that's why I did a no dig here. So I just covered most of the grass with thick cardboard, and it's still a work in progress. As you can tell, at the edge under the fence, I had to do something about that so it wouldn't creep back up into the bed. And so yeah, say hi, Mimi. Say hi, everybody. She's the blue healer that my oldest son's dog, and she now lives with us because she's a country dog, and they're city people, huh? But anyway, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's glorious right now with the cool afternoons, and just most of the flowers are blooming, and especially this rose here on the arbor. It's like so glorious to just sit on the porch and just enjoy all the flowers. So, and the reason why I said that is because pretty soon we're going to be so hot, and like last year or every year, by midsummer, you know, we're all going to be just discouraged because the plants are not, you know, blooming as well because of the heat. And so yeah, this is the perfect time to see blooms and see all the glorious things that's happening right now in the first couple of days of May. So today is May 4th, like I said. So happy 4th, everybody. And I hope you guys are enjoying your garden. And I hope to see you again sometime soon, somewhere down the garden path. Bye.